All right, taking you to the hardwood now in our NBA panel consisting of DraftKings contributors, Matt, Mr. Wiggles LaMarca, and Alex Hunter. Dudes, it's NBA building blocks. So who is your favorite player at each position on tonight's NBA slate? But first, we heard you, and we're giving you some love, Mr. LaMarca, for getting something right yesterday.
Me?
Here's a clip. Yes. Hold on. Here is a clip from yesterday's edition of The Sweat.
All right, how about that 7K range, Matt? Simmons, Harris, Bridges, Paul, where are you going?
I'm going to go with Kemba Walker. Kemba's coming off a pretty big game in his last outing. He went for 45 and a half DraftKings points. We already said Jaylen Brown is doubtful, and Kemba has increased his usage rate by 5.1% with Brown off the court this season. That's the top mark on the team. He's averaging 1.13 DraftKings points per minute in that situation. So even if just Brown is out, I think Walker is a very strong play.
No Jaylen Brown, so Kemba crushed it. 45 and a half DK fantasy points, his third highest output of the season here. 32 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and the Celtics win. He wasn't the highest scorer in that price range, but still a good pick, Mr. LaMarca. So if you'd like to take a victory lap, now is the time. I
feel like I bullied the production staff into that montage right there because I always give them crap about how anytime Jeff Ulrich gets something right, they give him kudos. So every time I come on, like, oh, what's Jeff's, victory lap montage going to look like today? So I feel like this was a pity win. I just by Kemba being on the court. I don't know if I got anything else right yesterday, full disclosure, but
take that win, Matt. That was a good win.
So, yeah. Thank you, production staff. I feel obliged. I feel heard. And
I'm telling you, you can get
forward.
anything. You can get anything you want if you bully your producers in this business.
Absolutely.
Like well done. Way to finally realize that. Now tell me who you're building around at guard tonight.
Yes, I'm going with the contrarian call of Russell Westbrook. Ever heard of him?
Yep.
11K, most expensive guard on the slate, but he's in a great spot against the Thunder. The Wizards right now are implied for over 120 points. It's the highest mark on the slate. Westbrook has just been racking up fantasy points recently, at least 55.75 in 10 straight games. The Thunder, as you may or may not know, a team he played for. So if you like the revenge narrative thing, he checks that box as well. Wizards have a couple of injuries that they're dealing with. I think overall, just a very nice slate to pay up for the safety of Westbrook.
Okay, Alex, who do you want at guard?
I love Westbrook too in the revenge narrative, but I also love Paul George tonight at $9,300. Kawhi is going to be out with the foot injury. He's going to be out for at least a week. And in the first game, he missed since being diagnosed. Paul George led the Clippers to a road win against the Blazers with 56 fantasy points. And we can't forget that Patrick Beverley's still out with the hand injury. Ibaka's out with the back injury. And Lou Williams is now in Atlanta. They just traded him at the deadline. Lou Williams is a high usage player. And Paul George has played 5 games without Leonard, Beverley, Ibaka, and Williams this year. And in those games, he's averaging 53 fantasy points with a crazy 39% usage rate. And to put it in perspective, Embiid leads the NBA in usage rate with 35.5%. So 39% is crazy for Paul George. And tonight he's playing the Rockets, who are 27th in defensive rating this month. So George should smash, and anything less than 50 fantasy points would be a big disappointment.
Okay, Alex, take me to forward. Who's your guy you want to build around?
Forward's a tricky position. I think Jason Tatum would be a really good play, depending on the Celtic situation. If Jaylen Brown's out again, I think Tatum's worth paying up. But I like paying down tonight for Davis Bertans at $4,300 against the Thunder. Just like Matt was saying, they have the biggest implied T total of the night going against the defensively challenged Thunder. And Bertans has gone over 30 fantasy points in back-to-back games. And the reason being is Rui Hachimura has been out with a knee injury. And now Denny Avita is also out with a broken ankle. So I think Bertans likely starts, but even if he doesn't, he's still going to play 30 minutes. And that's a really good bet at $4,300 going against the defensively challenged Thunder, like I said.
LaMarca, how tricky is forward for you?
It's a little on the trickier side, but I'm with Alex. You just played Davis Bertans, man. Piece of cake. At least 30.5 DraftKings points in back-to-back games. He's increased his usage rate by 3.7% with Hachimura and now Denny Avdia out of the lineup. With both guys off the court, he's averaging just under 1 fantasy point per minute. Should see roughly 30 minutes in this contest, if not a few more. So I think 4,300 makes him a guy that you want to build around as a value play.
Absolutely.
Well, who you building around at big, beefy center position, Matt?
If I know one thing, it's beef.
Yeah.
And
Mr.
we're
Wiggles.
going with Yusuf Nurkic tonight, 5,200. So we mentioned the Wizards are the top implied team total. Portland's number 2. And Nurkic is getting his minutes ramped up. He's coming off 28 minutes, almost 29 minutes in his last game. Could take even another little step forward today. He's averaged 1.19 DraftKings points per minute over the past month, facing a Memphis Grizzlies team that does not have Jonas Valanciunas, with Jaren Jackson Jr. still playing limited minutes. So great matchup, underpriced player. And everything lines up for me with Nurkic. He's another building block for me.
Building block at center, Alex. Hit me with it.
I'm going all the way up to Joker at 10,900. He put up a dud by his standards with 44 fantasy points against the Blazers the other night. But before that, he was averaging 57 in his previous 10. And Jamal Murray's obviously out, but we can't forget that Monte Morris is also out with the hamstring injury. And when these two guards have been off the floor, Jokic has handled a 37% usage rate and a 40% assist rate, which is 1.64 DraftKings fantasy points per minute, which is just ridiculous. And tonight he's going against the Warriors, who's averaging 61 fantasy points against this year. So I think Jokic is a pretty good bet to read the triple-double bonus, and he should get over 60 fantasy points.
How about a value play, Alex?
I like Daniel Gafford at $3,800 of the Wizards. He just joined the team 7 games ago, and in 6 of those games, he's gone over 20 fantasy points. Against the Warriors the other night, he got 38.5 DraftKings fantasy points off the bench, which was his first double-double as a Wizard. And tonight he's going against the Thunder, who we keep talking about are such a bad defense. And in their last 10, they've allowed the 4th most fantasy points to centers. So I think Gafford's a pretty good value at $3,800.
Who do you have, LaMarca, for a building block value play?
Yeah, I like that call quite a bit. Gafford's kind of like the perfect center to play with Russell Westbrook, just very athletic, attacks the rim. But I'm going to go with Brandon Goodwin. No Trae Young tonight. Trae Young probably out for an extended period of time. And Goodwin has been a nice source of value without Trae Young this season. He's played 4 games with Young and DeAndre Hunter, both out of the lineup, averaging just over 24 DraftKings points in 30 minutes per game. At 3,400, you will definitely take that kind of production. I think it's a really good night for value in general. The Wizards have a couple of guys. You could throw Raul Neto in with Daniel Gafford, with Davis Bertans. The Celtics, again, could be a nice source of value on the second leg of a back-to-back. Perhaps no Kemba, and who knows if Jaylen Brown is going to suit up. Romeo Langford played almost 32 minutes last night, and he's priced at the absolute minimum. So I think that value is not going to be a problem tonight. If you want to find a way to get Jokic and Westbrook in your lineup, you can do it.
How about a slate approved pick? So favorite sportsbook bet on tonight's slate, Maddie?
I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are slight underdogs at the moment, 1.5 points against the Hornets, but they are healthy again for basically the first time all year. They did lose Taurean Prince, but you can live without Taurean Prince. But they have Kevin Love, they have Larry Nance Jr., they have their 2 guards, they have Jared Allen. I think that this Cavs team, when they're at full strength, is not that bad. They're kind of bad, but they're not that bad. And now they're playing a Charlotte Hornets team that is missing perhaps 2 of their best players in LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward. So I kind of like them to get the job done. I think that they can win this game. And it wouldn't shock me if they won it kind of convincingly. So I like Cleveland here tonight.
Alex, hook me up with your favorite sportsbook bet on tonight's slate.
I like the Blazers at -2.5 at home against the Grizzlies. Like Matt said, the Grizzlies don't have Jonas Valanciunas, and without him in these last two, they've dropped 2 games, and they've been 24th in defensive rating. And Damian Lillard's back for the Trailblazers. Nurkic is starting to play more minutes. They're at home, and they need a win. I think they get the job done and cover against the Grizzlies.
Maddie, before you get out of here, where does your Mr. Wiggles nickname come from?
Well, I've been known to cut a rug at a wedding from time to time. And, sometimes you just got to let the freak flag fly, and they call me Mr. Wiggles.
Give us a dance move, Matt.
I'm not dancing on camera.
For Kemba for the last night.
Yeah, you don't want to celebrate your victory from last night?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Matt.
Don't hurt him, Maddie. That is too much. That is too hot. That is not safe for the Dream Stream. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.